And we're live. All right. This is another edition of the program Spotlight. I am here with the legendary head coach at Florida National University. Number one ranked team of the season coming in to 2025. 5 consecutive weeks atop of the board. Another USCAA national tournament appearance. The head coach, NickStrong. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Hey, thanks for having me tonight, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Any opportunity I get to talk to you is a good opportunity. So for those who may or may not know NickStrong, Nick, why don't you give the people a little bit of a rundown of who you are as a person, who you are as a coach?
Head baseball coach here at Florida National University, Hialeah, Florida, literally right next door to Miami. We're probably closer to the airport than Miami. Been here for about 3 years, to February 2022, going into 3 years on the clock and some change, but going into my 4th full season, going into my 5th season overall. Really crazy how that story works out. We'll get into that a little bit later. Coming in from Houston, Texas. Was the head baseball coach at University of Houston downtown, which is part of the NCBA, National Club Baseball Association. Done a stint over at Wiley College, an assistant. Houston Community College, another NCBA program, club baseball team. Was the assistant there. And coach high school before that, actually, down in Houston, Texas, over at Jack Yates High School. And I played at Texas Southern down in Houston, baseball, that's all I know. And teaching, I was also a high school teacher as well while doing the high school piece and the club piece. But all I know is education and sports, man. That's really all I know.
It's been your background, your entire professional career.
Absolutely.
D1 background at Texas Southern as a player. What position were you?
I was a closer, but I was a pitcher. I like to say I was the closer.
So you come from the D1 world, and now you get to coach in a world where I bet every player that you reach out to in some form or fashion has asked about the level or the division where, what conference are you playing in? And then what's that like? As I know we've gone back and forth on Twitter. I've seen you go back and forth with people. The difference between what level, so what's it like recruiting in the world of NAIA, but USCAA?
This is my stress ball, by the way. So you see me squeezing it. It's a real baseball, but it's also a stress ball. No. Let me just preface that also with, Adam, not only did I play D1 baseball or NCAA Division I baseball, rather, I played that for 2 years. Thought I was okay at it. I was also a junior college baseball player in the fall. I didn't play during the season. I was at West Valley College in in Saratoga, California. I was out there for 3 semesters. But before that, I did play a year, 2 semesters at North Park University in Chicago, where I'm from, which is an NCAA Division III program. Why do I preface that? Because I feel that I've seen levels before. I've seen all levels, and it's crazy. I'm at a dual affiliate NAIA/USCA program, because crazy as it sounds, I had an older brother, 7 years older than me. He graduated high school in 1994. Right. And I remember, I wanted to do everything he did. If he would have went to Sidewalk High and played baseball, Adam, I would have wanted to go there too. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is being the little brother, right? So he said, hey, he said, hey, I'm going to college, and granted, okay, so he went to college, and, we want to go too. We want to, grandma's mom took him to college. We want to roll too. So we went, and we drove 7 hours. Guess what school we drove him to? Don't answer. I'll tell you. Missouri Valley College in Marshall, Missouri, which is an NAIA program, right? So now you got NickStrong Jr., or you got NickStrong. He's actually the Robert Strong Jr. Thanks, Dad. But anyway, he's the one going to an NAIA baseball program. So where do I want to go? NAIA baseball, right? My dad played at Lincoln Junior College down in Lincoln, Illinois. I want to go to a JUCO. I want to go to an NJCAA program, right? I don't really know about D1. I only know about it because we watch Duke and North Carolina every basketball season. We watch University of Miami Hurricanes growing up during the football season, you know what I mean? And we watch LSU win national baseball titles in the 80s and the 90s. You know, so I say all that to say I've seen it all, right? I've seen it from quote unquote high to quote unquote low. And what does that do for me nowadays? It kind of gives me an idea of what every division, what every organization is about, right? You know, what NAI is about, what NCAA is about, what each division is about, what JUCO is about. And that's a good thing for me because not only am I helping kids or trying to bring kids in to help me win, I got into this business to help others, Adam. I was a high school coach and, you know, there was a kid on my team who I thought that can play quote unquote Division I baseball. He ended up playing Division I baseball, but not as soon as he graduated high school. He took some time. You know, but I know about all these places, all these things, because when I'm not helping my program get better, I'm talking to families, I'm talking to kids that call me that may not be a good fit for me and letting them know what other organizations can do for you, even club baseball as well. So, yeah, I've seen it all. You know, you're right. People ask me questions. You know, what do I tell them? Adam, I tell them the difference is the difference is the championship location. That's it. Is there a certain talent level difference? Absolutely. We're not going to sugarcoat that. But it's not because it doesn't mean that because I'm a better talent, I get to go to this organization over that organization. Let's just be across the board. There are some teams that can compete with others, you know, and there are D1s that can compete with JUCOs and NAI that can compete with whatever, you know, it's across the board. Right. So we get a lot of that, man. And I do a lot of explaining to the best that I know how.
Yeah. And you say that you bring up there's schools across the board that can compete with D1s, and nobody is going to sit here and convince me or hopefully anybody else who knows that Iowa Western Community College wouldn't walk into the bottom third of Division I schools and either outright win or push them to the limit, right?
I get it. Is that where you're at, by the way? Are you in Iowa?
No, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you got some good ones out there in Arizona, some really good ones.
Yep, absolutely. No, it's a baseball heaven down here. I get to every baseball field I go to, there's a college coach that's within an hour and a half. Their schools, there's 4 or 5 junior colleges here. There's a couple of NAIA schools, obviously Arizona State. Right. So I get a good feel for what almost every level is looking for out here.
Yep.
So when you're talking to these players, and I have the same conversation with guys all the time.
Yep.
How have you found it? And I look at your roster. You've got a full roster. I mean, you're not. You got guys. So obviously,
No, we don't. You're letting out the secrets, man. No, we don't. You're letting out the secrets.
FNU needs more. FNU needs more. So with USCAA, how is it from a athletic scholarship standpoint? How do you compete? Are you under the NAI guidelines as far as athletic money? And then obviously your school itself, I looked and there's extensive academic opportunities financially. Can you talk about how your package is molded for a baseball player at FNU?
Yeah, good question, because, when people see the dual affiliation, they often wonder, do you follow 2 separate rules? Do you play 50 NAIA games and then 50 USCA games? That's a really good question. So when you're a part of a dual affiliation, there's one association you usually have to follow the guidelines of. So, or we'll say more so, the one organization takes priority. So our NAIA takes priority, and the USCA knows that, right? Because that's the point. USCA says, well, hey, we'll let other schools from other organizations join us. When you join our organization, please make sure you follow your priority organization's guidelines. In our case, NAIA. right? As you know, in NAIA baseball, we're able to do 12 scholarships per varsity roster. Some people don't understand what that means, but we'll get into that a little later, because you can also go over your limit with all the kids in your program. But towards your varsity roster, you can only go 12 scholarships, right? So, for the most part, when we get to the, USCA World Series, we're playing USCA rules. When we talk about eligibility to get kids eligible, our AD is making sure that he goes to the NAIA piece and also coordinating with the USCAA, letting them know, hey, we've done our eligibility. Here's one copy for NAIA, here's one copy for USCAA, blah, blah, blah. So we always have to have, those things covered. Not to mention, to find success athletically or academically, rather, we're able to promote that some of our kids are, some of our kids receive all academic NAIA awards, but they also, receive all academic USCAA awards, so that's always a good piece to be able to promote, positive experience or, good things to the left and to the right, so we do appreciate that part of it as well. When it comes to the pricing, it's a little on the, as some people will call it, on the expensive side, right? I think, to go along with that, we don't have housing, right? So, I mean, not only did you see the sticker price on that tuition, you also have to add to, a young man coming to pay for his own housing if they don't have any already down here in Miami. So our scholarship package is pretty good. We usually give out quite a few dollars, which is why I like to recruit the academic-y kids, so that I can, make it look right to my boss.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, well, this kid is a 4.0 GPA. He deserves some money back in his pocket, dang on near, it doesn't not what happens for real, but, you try to maximize your dollar to the best of your ability in terms of our rules and guidelines for our school. And it says, our academic kids, in terms of also the play in the eye and the exemptions, I mean, you want to try to get around that 3.6 mark. But I mean, 3.3 is kind of that threshold that we look for non-pitchers, non-catchers.
Yeah. The academic side isn't exclusive to your school. That's a Division I, D2, D3. Every school is going to have that. And for the players out there, your college recruiting journey starts freshman year. Now, that doesn't mean you decide what school or you're going to start to get recruited freshman year. That means you're setting yourself up so that when your junior year, your senior year comes, you can look a coach in the eyes and say, I got a 3.5 GPA, I got a 24 on the ACT.
Yeah.
I'm academically set, right?
Not to mention, you also throw in there also, being in a certain percentage in the top of your class too. You can't forget about that. That's always a good piece, and that's part of one of the NAIA exemptions, if you're in a certain percentage of your class.
I did not know that. That's good.
Yep.
That's a good tip. So as you're recruiting, what would you say the identity, the culture of your baseball program is, and how do you manage the recruiting side to make sure that you're finding the right humans, the right fits for that identity and the culture that you're establishing?
Well, I look at some of our struggles that we have here at Florida National, and crazy as this sound, no school is perfect. I mean, but some schools have more struggles than the other. And, our biggest struggle is, no housing. That doesn't hold us back from, trying to be the best. I mean, we try not to let it hold us back, rather, but it does make a difference, when you tell Paul Skeens, hey, would you like to come to FNU? But if you can pay your own house, or you can go to LSU and we'll pay it for you, right? I mean, it just makes a difference, right? It just is what it is, or hopefully, Paul Skeens, if you got family in Miami, we'll still cover the tuition, or you can go live in LSU there are certain things that you can do. But, I think for me, we have to find kids, or we have to find humans, as you say, that are capable of living on their own if they're coming from out of town.
Yeah.
Before I took over the program, the school didn't really have a lot of local products. So I've been trying to massage that in lately, records didn't look the best, and et cetera. A lot of kids, just didn't really look to FNU as a baseball school. So we've kind of had to, just kind of massage that in the community as best as we can. But, we kind of looked out of town a lot. We kind of looked out the state. If you saw my roster, you saw we look out the country, Hungary, Canada, Bahamas. We have a kid coming from Japan this year, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, U.S. territory, by the way. I know my geography.
Yes,
Colombia, Venezuela, Panama, Mexico. Argentina's coming this year as well. So but we also get the best of both worlds because we're in Miami. We're closer to we're closer to Colombia than we are to California, right? So, it's only a couple hour flights for those guys. If they want to come, up to the States, right? So again, I try to look for a young human who's able to live on his own.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to send your 18-year-old son or daughter, from California or Hungary or Canada to come live on their own. Do we have some kids that do it? Absolutely. And we're able to, those parents are able to trust us and, hopefully that we can look after them and, create a safe environment from everybody. But the number isn't going to be so great with the 18-year-old and 19-year-old, right? So when you talk about that coach of the team, we're like a glorified men's league team. You know what I mean? We're like a glorified semi-pro baseball team, So, I try to look for we try to look for grown men. Let's just be honest, Yeah. And, a lot of freshmen, they contact me, and I hate to say no sometimes, Adam, but I mean, they contact me without asking their parents, can they come live on their own? And half the time we do talk to the parent and they end up saying, well, he's only 18 and, we just kind of want to keep him closer. And we get it.
Yeah.
And we get it, so I think that's one of the things that we have to live by in our program. That's a priority that we have to have. We have to have somebody as close to growing as possible. So what does that do for our team? It just creates an adult environment.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys on our team, the average age is probably 22, 21, 22, closer to 22 and a half, just above 22 probably.
Yeah. Well, and I got to experience both sides of that my freshman year of college. So I went to a junior college in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and no dorms, right?
Yeah.
So I had 3 roommates I had never met before. We had a group chat for about a month before before we arrived. And
group chat. What year were you in college?
I graduated 16, so fall of 16, I was freshman.
We didn't have group chat when I was in college, man.
Did you have Facebook yet?
Actually, when I got to Texas Southern, we kind of, led the storm to because remember back then in 2004, you had to have school email addresses for Facebook. Yeah. Yep. So we kind of led the charge to get Facebook on our campus. We did. Yeah. And we had it our first semester when I got there. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I'm
telling my age, man. I'm 42.
No, you look 28.
The teachers in the school here mistake me for being a student sometime. Are you in my class? Come on in. I say I can be.
You lost. Yeah. So I saw, what's it like to be 18 living alone. And I was out by October. I was back home.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I wasn't an adult. I couldn't figure it out.
Yes.
So I was back home, and then January I was at Dakota College of Botano on campus dorm.
I know Dakota.
Yep. I had family in the area. So I was a couple of blocks from my sister actually. So
crazy story. You all went through a coaching change around 15, 16 at Botano.
Yeah, Mike Green.
I applied for that job.
Did you? Did you really?
I applied for that job back in the day, man. Yeah, I did. I kid you not. It was a paper application. It was like a form or whatever. But I remember trying to apply for that job, man.
They hired Mike super late in the sale. It was like late July. Like their assistant coach didn't show up until September.
Yeah. I don't think I would have took it, but I just for the hell of it, man, and just trying to get my feet wet in terms of this coaching deal, man. I think I applied for that one because I definitely saw it. Yep.
Yeah. DCB
I think it paid $8,000.
Maybe.
Maybe, right.
No, that's crazy. You could have been coaching me, and then we could have been having different stories.
Yeah, no, for sure. Driving through the cornfields at night. My cousin went to school at She went to school in South Dakota, man. In NAI.
Dak State?
No, not Dak State, man. Mayville. She went to Mayville.
No, that's North Dakota.
That's North Dakota. Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
North
she went to
Dakota.
school in North Dakota. Yeah, Mayville. Yeah.
Yep. All right. That's north of Fargo, south of Grand Forks, right there in the middle.
Small world, man. Small world.
They have an excellent NAI program that Coach Barry. Coach Barry was the head coach there for like 30 something years, and he MLB dudes. So talking about that, you don't need to go D1 to get to the MLB. There's different routes.
Well, you can make up a great example. I mean, because when you talk about Lewis and Clark State, you talk about an area of the country, Black Hills, whatever you want to call it, up Northwest. There's not a lot of Division I options there. Now there are, I think there's Gonzaga, which we recently just joined. I mean, they didn't have a baseball team forever. It's North Dakota State, South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, they've got their deal. But around that Idaho piece, I mean, Lewis and Clark is like the place to go if you're a good baseball player.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you make your school and Coach Chef was there, taking care of business for X amount of years. You know what I'm saying? So, you make yourself, you make your program into what it should be. And I mean, it is what it is.
Yep.
This is Coach Chef and Lewis and Clark. That was his Power 5. And that should be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Lewis. I mean, if you're in the Idaho area, you've got Lewis and Clark State, and then there's Wyoming doesn't have a D1 program.
Right.
Utah has one or two,
maybe four. I think Utah State, BYU, and maybe right? Utah Valley or Utah Tech. Maybe Utah 5 Valley. Actually.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe so 5. Yeah.
But a decade ago, different story.
Bingo.
A lot of those are newer baseball programs.
So, correct.
Yeah, there's large parts of the area, especially in the western part of the country, where you've got a bunch of cornfields. Yeah, but there's not a lot of college baseball in general. So yeah, when you're a player and you're not, you don't have that elite tool. You don't have, maybe you've got 3 good tools and none of them are special.
Yes.
Like don't close yourself off. I know a guy, quick story, playing at DCB. They're a catcher at Bismarck State College.
You see? Okay. Oh, Bismarck State. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. So there was a catcher at Bismarck State College, 6'3", 6'4", 220. The dude was built. Excellent.
That's the one that's won NAI, by the way, correct?
Yep. They just went, NAI or D2 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And their catcher, Trevor Langang, I think was his name. 6'3", 6'4", 220, well-built cannon, ton of power. And he had a bunch of Division II offers, but he didn't have any D1 offers. And he told my buddy Spencer Gillen, who was on the team, JUCO All-American, he told him, if I don't get a D1 offer, I'm just going to go to NDSU, go to school.
That's fine.
And this is if that's your life decision and you're cool with going the next 40 years of your life, knowing that you're going to have a good life because you went and got an education.
That's fine.
But you gave up baseball to do that. Awesome.
They got club baseball there.
They got club baseball at NDSU, and I think he played.
And you'll be surprised how many kids say that, and they say, "Hey, we don't want to go to a small school. We don't want to go NAI, D3, and that's okay. Yeah. We'll still go get the big school experience." Yep. And we'll play on the club team.
They've got
practice, no 5 o'clock workouts. You know what I mean? Like, that's fun. Like, that's okay.
And there's a national tournament too, right?
There's 3 of them. Because there are 3 divisions, D1, D2, and D3 now.
Yeah. So look, there's so many options. There are so many options. If you really want to play baseball, there's opportunities out there for every talent level, for every kid. There's thousands of schools out there with thousands of different baseball opportunities. And if you're not looking at the division, you're not cutting yourself off, and you're not saying no to opportunity over here because you're thinking what's coming here.
Yep.
You're going to end up playing college baseball and you're going to have a tremendous time. But the number one part of all of this, nothing is happening baseball wise in college if you don't go to class.
That's it. That's all I care about.
That is it, right?
Yeah.
If a coach at a Division I is not graduating his players, is not maintaining the academic side and the issues there, he's getting fired. The next one's coming in.
Bingo.
And if that continues to happen over the course of many years, over the course of many coaches, program gone.
Retention matters.
Retention matters so much.
Retention matters, graduation rate. And not only does it matter, see, my plight is different. Again, we all want to win. Who wouldn't, right?
Yep.
But the U.S. accreditation agencies don't care about sports.
Not at all.
Not at all. They care about your retention rate and your graduation rate.
Yep.
And especially when you're at a small school and you have a small sample size, you know, some of these NAIA schools, some of these USCA schools, some of these NCCAA schools, you know, I think Citadel, is the smallest D1 enrollment at like 900 or something. I could be wrong. I think it's Citadel.
Presbyterian or one of those two.
And Presbyterian, actually, yes.
Yeah.
The sample size is smaller, right? So, 1,000 kids, you get 100 to leave. You get 200 to leave. Every year, that's not a good number.
Nope.
You know, that's not a good number when you go report to your accreditation agency. Here's the issue with that. Some folks say, you know, well, we'll always be around, and that's not really important. Yeah, a school can always be around, but they'll snatch your accreditation. You know what the issue with the snatching accreditation is? To be NAIA, Adam, you have to have a certain regional accreditation. To be NCCAA, you have to have a certain accreditation. To be NAIA and NCAA, you have to have certain accreditation. To be a part of the NCBA, National Club Baseball Association, you have to have a certain accreditation. So you can act as an independent all you want. That's what postgrads do. No disrespect. You know what I mean? They have some of them offer classes. Some of them, you know, go to get their own, you know, schools and whatnot. But anybody can start a baseball team. But if you want to be a part of a national organization, they require you have certain accreditation.
Yeah. And when you talk about that small school piece, it's a lot easier for LSU to, you know, turn over their baseball teams, their baseball
50,000 kids there, bro.
It's so easy for them to do that. Now, if you look at a junior college, you look at Presbyterian and D1,
right?
They can't do that. You can't turn over a 20-man, you know, you can't have 20 kids leave without graduating from Presbyterian without it like impacting something, right?
And Coach Elton does a good job up there too, by the way. Shouts out to him up there at Presbyterian. Oh yeah, Coach Pollock.
I'm trying to get Pollock on, actually. I got his number.
You got to get him on. You got to get him on. He's got a lot of good stuff to say.
And he's been there. He got there after Corbin. He played for Corbin, I believe. He took the job after the guy who took over for Corbin left.
Okay.
So he's been there for a long time. And if you were to ask the dean or the president of the college, you know, what's the biggest thing that keeps Elton's job, I guarantee you he's going to bring up graduation rate.
You have to have it.
You have to. Nothing else matters. So how do you manage that as a coach, knowing that kids are off campus, you're in Miami? Let's just be honest about, you know, obviously you're recruiting adults, right? You're doing the best you can to recruit adults, but sometimes Nick, even adults like to enjoy Miami weather. Okay, so how do you manage that with off-campus housing and the academic side and obviously the baseball side?
Man, it's and I'm gonna kind of kill two birds with one stone, and I'm also get into my recruiting style with that as well, right? Yeah. But I also shed a tear with that one, you know, because when I got this job, you know, it was the hardest job. We're just saying Miami. In the Florida, I don't want to, you know, get too broad, but coming to a school out of state for me, living in a whole new area, trying to recruit kids to a school which doesn't have housing.
Yeah.
Adam, man, look, I don't mean to gloat. I'm a beast, man. This has been the hardest thing that this is once you get past this struggle, we can handle everything else, right? But this has truly been one of the biggest hurdles, if not the biggest hurdle, you know. So trying to do that, man, it was very challenging, to say the least. We overcome, when we recruit in big numbers, we open up opportunities because, as a coaching staff, it's not, and as an employee of the university, it's technically not our job to find the kid housing. Okay. Legally, we're not supposed to get involved, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we're always going to throw suggestions out. We have young men who look for roommates. We match people up. We're so creative, where we work it out, right? You talk about the academic piece in that. Yes, it's Miami. I'm lost too on Friday and Saturday nights. Why not? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Who wouldn't be? So, yes, we do recruit the adult who can handle it, right? But also we recruit the adult who can handle being a student first and an athlete second. Baseball is life. Trust me, I know it. I believe it, right? But if you recruit that academic kid with that 3.75 GPA, it's just one less thing to worry about when you leave practice in school. Yep. Because I'm not touting that this student is a Harvard student. He can get into Harvard and excel in better physical science. I don't know. Okay. I'm not claiming that. Right. But I am claiming that I have recruited a young man who knows how to prioritize academics and athletics and social life all at once. Right. Yeah. Team GPA this past year, 3.56. I like to think I did a good job recruiting a certain type of student. Right. We've also seen some win total gains come with that. We've also seen, those type of things come along with recruiting a better student. But I just have to take one thing off my plate, and that's academics by recruiting a certain type of kid. Now comes the social life. I just asked the guys, I don't want to see you where I party at. That's it. I mean, I can't, you know this. Living off campus, we don't have it. I mean, there's nothing we can do. Yep. We just have to recruit mature young men, talk to their parents, and hope for the best. Hope they're not calling me at night trying to bail them out of jail, and luckily we haven't had that yet, Coach, I've heard stories, right? And I'm blessed, and I mean, we're just blessed to, be in a situation to where kids are responsible here for us, and again, I think that goes back to the recruiting a certain type of age range as well. Like I say, we're probably going to see more of an influx of 18-year-olds living in Miami this year, the way we recruit it, so we'll have some more data on that moving forward, maybe after the year. Right. But I mean, it's the high GPA kid is usually data statistically responsible. Yeah. Right. And that's been the way we've recruited first. You're recruiting an academic kid who prioritizes academics, baseball, and social life, and understanding we're here for one common goal.
Yeah. 100%. It's really easy. When I was at DCB as a pitching coach, handling the recruiting side, I remember filtering on whatever platform it was. I forget, 3.5 GPA or higher.
Yeah.
To make sure I wasn't dealing with any.
Did you all have some academic money? I know it's community college is usually fairly inexpensive, but was there some extra academic money with that 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5 was the minimum threshold to get the most amount of academic money.
Correct. Got you.
Few $1,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, in NAI, we don't do academic money. Some people don't realize that. We do institutional aid.
Okay.
Even though you may get an academic scholarship, that still counts towards your baseball scholarship. And the coach has or your institutional aid, your athletic scholarship. The coach has so if, for example, hate to cut you off, if the kid comes here, now we have an academic scholarship, it's like $3,000. Okay. So, now you're getting $3,000 total. Say I may not have that much money to give. I mean, we do, but I'm just, for example, I could tell that kid, we can't bring you upon because you're going to get that here. Now you can either take that 3 academic or take this 1 baseball. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what I can afford for you. Right. So in NAIA, you have to count academic. Well, it should be counted in NAIA as institutional aid. The academic scholarship that you receive plus the baseball, all one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
I did not know.
Yep.
I'm going to learn a lot in these podcasts, which is
when you interview me, man, it's got to be a 2-part series, bro. I'm just being honest. And I mean, you can ask BB, you can ask all the other guys, Al, Sirhab. It's got to be a 2-part series, man.
Well, we will have you back on for sure, because I know for a fact we're gonna get off onto some tangents and some conversations that have got very little to do with anything. So player development.
Go for it.
How is FNU managing that? I know you're a one building campus, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Technically, 2 buildings on this property, but we have 3 different locations. It's a small campus. Yeah.
So you got a tiny campus. You don't have your baseball field on campus.
Correct.
Do you have the weight room, the training facilities on campus to do that, or
no.
do you?
No.
Okay. What does that look like for a player?
We always let the kids know that, that's the first thing I mention in my recruiting pitch. Are you interested at a school that doesn't have a field on campus? Because supposedly everybody wants to play at a school that has a field on campus, supposedly.
Allegedly.
I mean, although University of Arkansas doesn't have one on their campus, but I'm just saying, okay? But nevertheless, all right? No, that's always, the first deal, because that is, that's some kid's dream, and I don't want to take that away from them, right? So I'm an upfront guy. I'm an honest guy. But to that is, for us, for a U.S. citizen, a domestic kid, classes can be online, right? So and also we go to a term system, semester in a semester, and this is for reference. In a semester, we have 2 terms, term A and term B. So the first 8 weeks you take 2 classes. The second 8 weeks you take 2 classes, all in one semester. Okay. For a U.S. student, that can be online. So for a U.S. student, you may not ever touch the school during a 8-week period.
Okay.
So now, when you're driving from that apartment that you have or your home in Miami, you don't have to go to the school. You can go straight to the baseball field. You see what I'm saying? So I get it. Some people just want that experience where your field is on campus because it looks nice. That's great. But the real deal is we don't need it on campus because our kids go straight from home to the baseball field. So if in reality, for that kid who wants to go to school, just go to the field. It's the same drive. It's the same 10 minutes, right? So we have a practice field. We use the city of Hialeah facilities. Our basketball gym is at a location, same way as volleyball. Soccer uses a location. Tennis uses a location. Softball uses a location. Our track and field uses a location. So we use the city of Hialeah. We have a partnership with them to where, we all our home facilities are involved in the city of Hialeah. That's first and foremost. We have a practice field that we use, Walker Park. That's what we've been using since day one, inception. But we also play our home games at another game regulation size field, actually named after the pitcher, Alex Fernandez. Used to play for the Marlins. Remember him?
No, I wish I did.
White Sox? Okay, yeah. You're telling your age, right? Telling my age, telling your age. So, yeah, we play at a field named after him. You've probably seen on the website or the city of Hialeah, whatever it may be. So we have a practice field and we have like a game field location. In terms of weights, we use a business called UFit Gym, where they have different locations in the Miami, Hialeah area. We use a location in Hialeah. We purchase all the we purchase all the athletes' memberships to UFit. They can go there during the school year. They can go there during the school year and they can go work out till whatever time it opens and closes. So that's where we do our weight room at. And that is Alex Fernandez. That's Alex Fernandez right there. That's Alex Fernandez right there. So the field looks nice. Plays about, I think, I don't really know the dimensions down the line, but it looks to be somewhere around 320. I mean, some schools came in and hit a lot of home runs against us, and we hit a lot of home runs against others, but it happens, whatever it may be. But here's the main thing. It's got bullpens, it's got a mound, it's got dugouts, it's got bases. And the kids that play on it, as my man Jeremy Sheetniger would say, they wear jerseys too. It just happens to be an NAIA program, So I mean, this is what we do, and this is what we sell. I don't want us, and kids will tell you, Coach Strong will be the first one to tell you what we don't have. Because if you want to live your dream and you want to play on a nice field that has lights, locker room, and turf field, we don't offer that experience for you. So go find it somewhere else, and I'll support you with that. But this is what we have, and this is how we're gonna, facilitate. This is how we're gonna prioritize our baseball, and this is how we're gonna be successful when it comes to our development.
100%. I mean, especially when you're a small school coach, it doesn't matter whether your facilities are on campus. It doesn't matter if you've got a $100 million weight room. You maximize what you have, and if you do that right, and you do that over the course of a significant period of time, you're going to end up with winning records. Doesn't matter that your field's off campus. You protect the home field, right? You're 11-10 at home this season. You've got a 500 record.
Oh boy, 11-10, man. I think we should have won about 2 more of those, man. I would like to be 13-8.
I do want to point out USCAA school. I mean, you're playing nationally ranked schools. Weber's
the NAI program. Weber's NAI program. Yep. And really good one too, by the way.
Yep. Number 8 nationally when you play.
Yeah, they went to the World Series. Yeah, they went to the World Series.
Kaiser University pumps out a ton of talent.
Oh, Kaiser was tough this year, man. They actually beat Gwinnett. They went to the final game with Gwinnett, Game 7 in the regional finals, man, to go to the World Series.
Yep, they're incredible.
But we got canceled with them this year. We got canceled with Kaiser this year. It was raining that weekend. Mm-hmm.
I figured Miami, the only thing that could possibly cancel anything is rain.
Yeah. It's funny because we had a game canceled last year with Kaiser due to that the sun, I forget what the reflect, the sun deal. The solar effect. The solar effect.
Yeah.
The eclipse, yeah.
They're finding every excuse to dodge you is all I'm hearing.
No, not at all. No, I know. And craziest story, man. Coach Brook played baseball for the White Sox growing up when I grew up. And I used to skip games and go to the White Sox game, man, when I was in high school. Don't think my dad and my mom knew this, but
you were skipping games?
Yeah, I skipped school to go to the games, the early games. And practice too, by the way. But when I got the job at FNU and I saw he was coaching, actually, before I got the job, I reached out on Twitter. Hey, just want to say what's up, man. I followed you in high school. I'm from Chicago. He was like, yeah, blah, blah. I get the job about 3 weeks later and I text him. I say, hey, you're on our schedule this year. He says, what? And it was just, that was pretty cool, man.
Is that a team that you'll be playing try to be playing
we're trying to we've kind of changed up our schedule a lot since I've taken over. That's been another change with our program. We're just trying to play. We play a lot more. We add a lot more USCAA schools. We play some NCCAA schools as well, and we try to play Sun Conference teams when we can. Not a lot. We don't play a lot of Sun Conference teams if we don't have to. We only try to play about maybe 2 to 3 per year or whatever. We'll try to get flow mode. St. Thomas kind of went to more of a weekend schedule, so they don't do a lot of weekday games. Kaiser does some midweek, but also with us, here's another struggle that we have: finances. Okay. I'm not saying we're broke. We've got a pretty good budget, but it also costs us $2,000 to travel when we go on the road. We have to rent a bus.
Yeah. And
I mean, even to go to Kaiser and back, which is an hour drive, I mean, it's $2,000 a day. I mean, and usually we've kind of diverted that money. And, when we have teams play now, you'll see on the schedule this upcoming year, we pay for them to come play us now. We take care of their hotels. So we do offer a guarantee for teams to come down and play us. And that's kind of where we used our money. We've kind of turned that around, So usually you'll see before I got here, FNU probably played maybe 22 Sun Conference games a year, where now we're only playing maybe like 4 or 5, not even. And that was done by design. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at DCB we had the same thing. I mean, Dawson County, now Miles, Williston State. Those schools would pay for our hotel because it's cheaper for them to do that than it is for them to drive the 5, 6, 7 hours from the western side of the state and then hotel and all of that. So
did you all play club teams too up that way?
Yeah, not when we were there, not when I was there, but now Mark schedules the NDSU club team.
Okay.
He's done
Yeah,
that a couple
that's
years.
pretty normal up your way in that Northwest. I know Colorado State is usually pretty good. Colorado is usually pretty good.
Yeah, they maybe I think a couple of years, COVID year, they had they had their season, literally we had our season stopped. That was my first year as the pitching coach. Our season stopped in the middle of a game, but the next day we were fifth inning fifth inning of the game. COVID ended the season. But the next game we were supposed to play Colorado, one of the school's club teams.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
When I coached at UH downtown, we went to the regional with Air Force. This team was, dude. I had no answer for these guys, man. This team was stacked. This team was stacked, man.
I imagine, Navy probably has a club baseball team. Like those military schools, everyone there is so disciplined.
Bingo.
It probably doesn't really matter for them, right? Some of them, I imagine the the D1, the NCAA D1 proper team for Air Force, loaded every year, ton of talent. I'm sure they're struggling now with the transfer portal and kids leaving before their junior year, but those club teams, anyone that goes to those schools is incredibly disciplined. They're always in the weight room. They're always training. They're always, you don't got to worry about those guys doing anything in Miami.
No, not at all. And we actually play Miami's club team too every year.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, we don't put them on the varsity schedule. We may scrimmage against them.
Yeah.
But we usually get them in a JV game. We try to we'll call it a JV game or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll play Florida Gulf Coast Club. Florida Atlantic just got a club team, and we'll play University of Miami's club team. We played University of Tampa's club team last year too. That was an experience.
You Tampa as a club team?
Yeah, that was an experience, if you know what I mean.
To go with their dominant.
This team was just dominant, man.
How are those Florida club teams? Because Florida, like Arizona and California and Texas, just loaded with baseball players.
Well, like I say, man, here's my deal. And you're from Arizona. Arizona State's usually got a really good team too every year. Arizona State club. You got 40,000 kids at a school. Okay. You can't tell me only 35 of them know how to play baseball. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Nope. That's
stop right there.
Way to put it.
I stop right there.
Yep. Okay. So trying to get back on track. I knew this was going to happen. So what role, personal accountability and leadership amongst your players? Like, do you have obviously you've got a team that's older. So are you comfortable? And you obviously have to be, but your self-policing of the team, the culture that's built by those older guys, are you relatively stressful? Are you relatively hands off? Just kind of yeah. How's that look from a player accountability?
I like to call my team self-led, team-led, team player-led. I like to tell them, I'm not coming in your locker room, guys. Coach Strong does not come in the locker room. It's not my place. It's not my place. When I get to the field and there are some issues that need to be worked out, I'm not working them out.
Yep.
I'm there to write the lineup. There's our practice plan for the day. You guys handle business inside the locker room, make sure everybody's on point, and I require that of my guys, and it comes with work. It comes with a lot of reps and trying to get them to understand that, because then again, you still have some younger guys, some freshmen that do come in and they're not really used to that, but the JUCO guys and the 4-year transfer guys, they've seen it. Some of them aren't used to it, but they've seen it. They've never been in charge of it. Right. But, that's where we've got to get to. You can't tell me that LSU Shreveport didn't have a team, didn't have a player general in the locker room somewhere. Am I saying the coach can't go in there and discipline some? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I think I want to spend more time doing baseball than I have to doing discipline. And I believe that the kids, need to police themselves and get on each other and hold them accountable. And we've started that already for this upcoming year.
Yeah. And again, you got guys living off campus. I assume that a decent percentage of your team probably lives with each other in apartment or a house or whatever.
Yep.
So, I mean, it just comes with the overall philosophy of just you're recruiting adults. You're recruiting the people that you believe can handle it. And
Bingo.
if they can't handle it, they weed themselves out very quickly.
Yep. And we've got to, we've got to keep you in school and get you a degree here because maybe the baseball field may not be the place for you. And notice what I said, Coach. I like to recruit kids who, if you don't end up playing baseball, you want to kind of stand. Does it happen all the time? No. But we want to recruit a kid who's kind of close to getting that degree, and, because we don't want them to transfer. I mean, that's not the goal. We don't want them to leave. Hey, if baseball doesn't work out, we want you to get the degree and we'll still keep you on scholarship. That's the other thing. We don't pull scholarships. I mean, if it's a discipline issue or something, we get it. You know what I mean? But if you don't make the team, not necessarily don't make the team because we don't have tryouts, but if we find out baseball isn't for you, but you still want to stay in school, you're going to keep the scholarship. As long as you do community service, maybe come out to a couple of games, help out, volunteer, we're going to do that for you. That's our promise.
The vast majority of schools out there, coaches are pulling us.
I know. I know. I know.
So unique. That's unique, and that's an
but
excellent
that goes
thing
to show you the educational value that I'm trying to put on the young man, on the student. You're coming here to get the degree. If you don't play baseball, then it just didn't work out. Like, it's okay. You can come help me coach. I hire 2 graduate assistants every year as well.
You get 2?
I mean, yeah.
If I want it.
Yeah, I get 2. I know some schools only get 1, some schools only get 0, but we happen to get 2.
That's a good life you're living. That's a good life you're living. Look, you go to any school, it doesn't matter. If you go to LSU, you go to LSU Shreveport, you go to Florida State or Florida National. The piece of paper at the end of the day is what matters the most. You're not okay. And
I've had Ivy League coworkers at a teaching high school with me.
I need to say this. You are not one of the 21,000 greatest players of baseball to have ever walked this planet. Okay.
Yes.
If you play minor league baseball, you will make very little money. If you never crack an MLB roster, you will make very little money, which means your game plan after your whatever amount of years in, whether it's freaking France where I played, or Italy where I played, or Germany where I played, or you
played over there. Wow.
I played any. If they had a baseball field and a mound, I was there, man. I was. My dad says I was doing everything I could to avoid being an adult.
Yeah.
And now I'm here. But whether you play in Europe or you play the AAA for 7 years, your game plan has to be set, and you need to have a route as an adult to provide for yourself, for your family. You've got kids, and I know going to college is now, or saying college is overrated is now the cool thing to do it, right? But but the stats show that if you graduate from college, you're in a significantly better position than if you don't. And if you don't graduate from college, you better be excellent at something. You better have something that stands out to an employer that would make them want to hire you. So go to college, graduate, have fun doing whatever, playing baseball, basketball, football, anything.
Agreed.
But God, get a piece of paper, even if it's an AA. All right, back on topic. We're gonna reel it back in.
Part 2 coming soon.
Part 2, yeah, we're gonna need a part 2. What's one lesson coaching has taught you that you didn't expect when you first started coaching, when you left college? When
I left college, I didn't really see myself coaching. I saw myself being a school teacher, but I really didn't expect to coach high school sports. Crazy as that sounds, I just wanted to teach, but I didn't even think about coaching. But I started teaching and coaching. So, couple of things. One, always leave a school better than what you found it. No matter what, man. I mean, whether it's FNU, whether it's Jack Yates, whether it's LSU Shreveport, whether it's LSU, main campus, always leave the school better than what you found it. That's number one. Another thing that has taught me something, or that I've learned, you never know where you're going to end up. I mean, I thought I was going to be coaching high school forever. Like the one school, I thought I was going to be like state champion one day. And I was going to be like that longtime legendary coach, and the administration thought otherwise. I got to the next school and I was like, man, let me take this and move it on and make the other administration thought otherwise. I got to the next school. The administration thought otherwise. FNU hasn't thought otherwise just yet, but you kind of never know where you're going to end up, man. I never knew I'd be coaching college baseball in Florida. I never knew I'd be coaching baseball in Florida. Right. And to go along with that, one thing I mentioned on my tours is that this isn't a stepping stone for me. I tell every parent that, when you get me, your son is going to have me until the school says they can't have me anymore. This isn't my stepping stone to my D1, to my D2, to my NAIA, whatever. I mean, do I have some goals and aspirations? Absolutely. But I don't look at this and say, I've got to use this and to catapult me into the next era. Right. So I've learned that, enjoy where you're at, be where your feet are, build upon what you already have. There's a D1 school I would love to coach at. I mean, I'd be wrong to say I didn't want to coach my alma mater, right? I mean, who wouldn't? But that's not why I'm here. Be where your feet are at. Because if you don't, then you're not going to enjoy where you coach. Yep. You're not going to want to make this better for the kids that do want to come in and help you win. Like my kids will look at me and tell me, they say, Coach, like, we ain't never found a coach that's more excited to coach a team than you. Yeah. Like, and I mean, dude, like this is my Power 5. Like I'm excited to be here. It's crazy. I mean, I didn't think I'd be here 5 years ago, but I'm excited to be here. And if somebody else says different, I need to leave, I'm going to be excited about the next place I end up. Because you never know where you're going to be. So enjoy the game and be where your feet are.
Yeah, your Florida State is Florida National.
My Florida National is Florida National. You know what I'm saying? Like my Florida National is Florida National.
Put that on the poster.
Hopefully Ling Jarrett wants to take my job. Hopefully I make this more attractive. Ling Jarrett say, hey man, when this job opens up, Link don't apply.
You better watch out, man. His agent's probably out there, so he's gonna catch wind of this.
Send the link to Link. Send the link to Link. Who wouldn't want to come in Miami?
That's a good point. Yeah, you got an assistant coaching job that can get me out of this heat.
I do have some of those.
We'll talk later. I see you, and I want to talk about the social media piece.
Go for it, man. I'm here. Go for it. We here.
Yeah, that I'm sure there's.
I'm coming left-handed on this one.
a little offhand. What?
So hey,
how do I ask this? When you're on Twitter, you are the singular most authentic follow that I have from a coaching standpoint. Every time I see you tweet, I'm like, damn, does Nick have a filter? Like what? Sometimes I question what you're even saying, and it takes me a little bit to figure it out. Right. But
I was trying to keep a straight face. Wow.
when you're in these Twitter debates with other coaches, with other platforms, whatever, what's the biggest thing that you see that you're trying to correct in a thought process from
Thank
other
you.
people?
No, for sure. First, shouts out to, everybody who's on Twitter giving their opinion, advice, whether it be Teacher Man, whether it be Fry Daddy, I mean, all the greats, at the end of the day, man, everybody's out there with their intention, and their intention is their intention, and just like I told you earlier before we hop on, one thing we have to remember is we're all going to agree to disagree on something in life. That's just part of being, a man, and part of, developing as a person in life, as a good citizen. And we have to respect everybody's boundaries, or we have to respect everybody's opinions, and we have to remember their opinions.
Yep.
Let's not forget their opinions.
Not fact.
Now, if you want to back up some stuff, and hey, we saw, 48 catchers were drafted and 28 pitchers were drafted or whatever, that's factual information, whatever you want to factualize. Vamos. So we have to factualize, things like that. I get that. Adam, one thing about me, there is a filter. I mean, it's just different than your filter, But I think, as I just said earlier before this question, there's no need for me to try to watch what I say. First of all, my job, and that's first and foremost. If they tell me I can't do something, I'm not going to do it, right? But I mean, I'm not saying anything egregious, in my opinion, right? In my school's and my job's opinion, and, others or whatever. I'm not doing this coaching thing, as I just said, for a future job.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to apply for anything else. A lot of folks don't say things because they don't want to come back 5 years later and it comes back to haunt them. I've got nothing for to haunt me, man. I'm here to build FNU. And some people don't realize. I've got comments, well, hey, man, you better watch what you say. You're not going to get that D1 job, or you're not going to be able to coach D1 one day. IDAGF. I've heard that. I don't know what it really means. I've just seen people say it anyway. All right. But I just, my thing is, I'm here. I'm here for the young man. I'm here for the family. I've gotten inboxes before. Hey, thanks for the advice. I got 2 messages today. Thanks for the advice. Talking to some coaches. They talk good about you, blah, blah, blah. Talk to some kids. They didn't talk good. Coaches didn't talk. I don't, whatever, but we're here to help young men, man. And we've got to be as genuine as possible. Shouts out to everybody who does this for money. Hey, I don't want to hate on your business. That's you and your money, and I'm not taking anything away. I don't need it. So when I give advice, I'm going to give it in a way that I feel that can help others. If you don't like it, then you just don't like it. That's okay. But I can give you numbers that say plenty of them do. So, sometimes I'm bored, I'm crazy as that sounds. I mean, I'm a workaholic, but sometimes I question my own tweets. I do. I'm not going to say I don't. I may happen, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not doing this to please anybody. There's nothing I need there. I've got nothing to lose in this one, man. Again, I'm here to help young athletes make better decisions in a transfer portal world. Let's not get, when I hear that kids aspire to be in a transfer portal, that pains me, man. That really pains me.
Right. Okay. So right before we hopped on, I saw a video of a 17-year-old who just decommitted from his Division II school.
Okay.
It's July 18th. That D2 has filled your position already.
Bingo.
With another right-handed pitcher right out of the portal with the same metrics as you.
Bingo.
Where are these high school kids in the transfer portal world? Since you brought it up, and this is something that really bothers, I think, both of us.
Yep.
Where does that kid think he's going to go reopening his recruiting on July 18th? What options are still out there as far as being able to maximize, number one, the athletic scholarship portion, and number two, the academic portion? Schools are out of money at this point. I mean, there's very few schools that have, because that academic money is not set aside for athletics.
Yes.
So what are you seeing from the high school side, the 18-year-olds that don't have the experience of a one-time go around, or and they're doing these things like decommitting from a Division II school to reopen their recruitment and hopefully end up somewhere. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have a problem with kids committing, decommitting. What I have an issue is when you go expecting something you're probably not going to get.
Yeah.
I don't mind a kid going D1 as a freshman. I mean, I truly don't. I played D1. I don't advise against it.
Yep.
What I advise is, do you really see yourself playing at that institution? The coach told you were going to walk on. Don't change his mind. Be okay with being a walk on. Be okay with being a backup.
Yep.
Don't go in there with the intention of, I'm going to go change the coach's mind, bet on myself, earn a starting spot. Because if you do that, what's going to happen is, Adam, two things. One, the coach can cut you anyway if you don't make the team. That's one. And we've seen that. And I get that piece. But two, you're going to feel another failure. This is a sport where we only get 1 out of 4 hits. It's going to be 1 hit out of every 4 bats anyway. So we're failing 3 times. We're failing 75% of the time. Now you're going to fail. Now you're going to let yourself fail in the sense of you didn't make the team or you didn't get the playing time you wanted. Dude, go sit the bench. Go grow at that school. Hell, we just mentioned it. Find an AA to get. Maybe that Division I program may offer an AA degree somewhere in there, and you can get that and transfer to somewhere else. Division I. We offer an AA degree at our school, but you can't to play baseball NAI. You have to be on a bachelor's track. So for some kids that may want to come here, play a couple of years, they'll get an AA, then transfer out to that big D1. That's fine, because you graduated from here at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So I want the young man to understand, go into that program with the mindset of, I'm here to learn and get better. When you see yourself as a failure, I didn't make the team. Now I'm going to JUCO in the spring. All right, here we go. Now I'm on a transfer trail. Here's that D1 bounce back come in. I played. I didn't get the numbers I wanted. Now I'm going to another JUCO. Now I'm going to put up these numbers. I didn't put up the numbers because I'm waiting on that big D1 offer. Now it's August of my sophomore year or junior year, 3rd year in college, looking for that big program. Don't like the offer I got. North Dakota State Club baseball it is.
Yep. I'm
not saying it's bad. What I'm saying is you had goals and aspirations to play D1 baseball. You should be able to follow that, right? I don't think the goal should be to start as a freshman while I play D1 baseball. That's where I think we fail at.
Starting as a freshman at a Division I school,
anyway,
at any level, or not any level, in any conference at any school that's Division I, you have got to be the best by a mile.
Yes,
at your position.
Bingo. Agreed.
To start. For any players out there that are watching or will be watching this in the future, if you at a Division II, at an NAI, at a Division III, it doesn't matter what level it is, they are not bringing you in as a freshman because they think that you can play as a freshman. They are bringing you in because they think that you can play as a redshirt sophomore, as a junior, as a senior, and they see the projection, not
and that's okay. And that should be okay. That should be great.
High school kids should be committing. If you're committing to a 4-year school, you should be committing to the school. You should be committing to the development path.
I agree.
You should be looking and seeing the future of what you could be as a student, as a human, as a player 4 or 5 years from now, not commit in July. Where am I going to be at in May? Oh, I didn't get the playing time. Shoot, let me go somewhere else where I think maybe I can play some more. You shouldn't be doing that.
Bingo.
Should not be, because if you do that, I bet you're going to transfer 2 or 3 more times.
That's the problem.
You're always going to be searching for something, right? And it's always going to be it's going to be right there. But you could have stayed at Kaiser University and been getting 40 starts in a 50 game season. You could have pitched. I see dudes that I still see guys that I had large scholarship offers to come play at DCB for me.
Yep.
And they've transferred 2 or 3 times, right? But they could have pitched for me at DCB and had 70 innings in 2 years, 80 innings in 2 years, been a guy right away, got that development, and then gone somewhere else. And they actually had something tangible that a coach could see. Oh, he had success. He can come have more success with me. That's the JUCO path. Don't go to a 4-year school thinking that you're going to bounce up out of there in 2 years, because you don't treat a 4-year school like a JUCO, because that coach is not treating you like a JUCO player. He's treating you with a development path of a 4 or 5 year school, he should, as he's done for his entire career as a coach, as a player. You can see I'm really bothered. I'm really bothered.
But like you said earlier, we're bothered the same, but we may be bothered in a different path. But it's the, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm about to walk out the building as we talk. I got plenty of time. But you're right, man. I mean, it's a matter of, dude, just sit down, man. Just learn how to sit. Learn how to relax. Be a freshman. Get better. You know? Got a helmet for my Sunday league game this week. Get better, man. I mean, and that's all I want for young men. And sometimes, look, you transfer and you find success other places, because, you know, we'd be hypocrites to say that NAI doesn't thrive off transfers. We'd be hypocrites to say that.
100% do.
We'd be hypocrites to say NAI didn't thrive off transfers, you know, but at the same time, when we look for kids, and that's another thing back to the recruiting piece, when I'm looking for a young man, you know, you can get through 2 or 3 JUCOs and, you know, another NAI, and, you know, but here's the deal with that. I'm going to preach that you stay and graduate from our school. I'm going to stay and preach that you graduate from our school.
Yeah.
We've got to get you a degree, man. Please make me your last stop, because I'm a graduate of Texas Southern, which is an HBCU. And, you know, you've seen the show on Netflix, Last Chance U, with the junior college kids back in the day. Yep. Remember, they had football first. They've had basketball. Did they ever do baseball with that?
They did not, but that should be on Netflix's schedule.
I mean, so, you know, the NAIA, the D2 to a certain degree, the NCCAA, hell, the USCA can be that second chance, that last stop for you young men, man. And, you know, we just ask that, hey, you get that degree, you know, and trust in the coach. You know, trust in the coach, man. I mean, you don't have to go to school in 4 years. If you get a degree, great, you know, but and sometimes when you transfer, I mean, you meet people, you get new experiences. We get it. Like, there's some benefits to all that, you know, but in this transfer portal world, you can't aspire to be in a transfer portal. I draw the line right there. I'm sorry.
And you don't. The worst thing I see is kids treating 4 years like JUCOs, and I guarantee you that coach that recruited you out of high school, he didn't say one time, you know, come play for me for a year or 2 years, and then we'll get you a better offer somewhere else. I guarantee you his plan for you was 4 or 5 years of development. Let's get you graduated, and then you can make a decision as an adult, grad transfer, grad assistant. But the connections that you make at a college as a student are going to be there for your entire life. Those are right. Those are huge connections. And when you're talking about being at Florida National, where you're in the Miami area, or Robert Garza is at Texas Wesleyan, he's in Fort Worth.
I know Coach Garza, a good dude, man, really good dude.
You talk about these, where your schools are located, and the connections that may or may not be connected to FNU or Texas Wesleyan or Kaiser University, but they're just in the area. You can build those connections with business leaders, with community leaders, and put yourself in a position where when you graduate, your job prospects are 10 times better than the guy who flipped schools 3 times
Yep.
graduated with some BS communications degree and has no plan.
Man, it's a different world, man.
It's a different world. We're gonna have a part two. We're gonna have a part two.
For it. I'm here for it, man.
Yeah, I think part two is going to be very heavily on this topic. I feel like we didn't even touch on Florida National as a school, even.
Well, just know the values that I hold, for all young men, which we kind of got off to, are the same values I hold for my man at FNU. We talked about academics, man. The way I recruit. We like that 3.3 GPA, 3.6. We get the exemptions for that in NAI baseball. That's meant for another conversation. We only have, maybe 7 or 8 majors: criminal justice, business, psychology, health service administration, STEM, so we don't have a host of majors. So, you have to have an interest in our institution academically to come. So that's a big deal with us. The graduation rate has gone up since I've been here with the baseball piece. Like I said, 3.59 team 3.56 team GPA, 3.3 overall team GPA. Right. But, that just goes to show, 1 day a week study hall at least. We try to do 2 when we can. We'll practice in the morning time, 9 o'clock. We'll get out by 12. We'll get the study hall or weight room after, so we try to add the academic piece as much as we can, from an athletic standpoint. The things I would just like to say about that piece, like I say, we're NAI USCA program, and, we're okay with that. Adam, that's another thing. People tend to say, well, don't you want to play bigger and be? No, we're okay with where we are. There's 15 college baseball national championships per year. We get an opportunity to play in 2 of them. Who gets to say that, right? Again, the difference is, you can say competition level. That's fine. I don't care. That really doesn't concern me. But, at the end of the day, when you send your kid to college, you want him to have success. And it doesn't matter, that he was playing in Lewiston, or he was playing Du Bois, or he was playing in Omaha. You got a chance to see your son, in this case, your son or your daughter, in some cases, you got a chance to see your child have success. And that's what I think that we forget about, when we talk about, college sports. So again, the values that I hold when I talk about other programs and other decision makers or trying to help people are the same, values that I hold from my program here at FNU.
It's every coach in the country. The only thing that any coach wants is what's best for the player.
That's it.
That's it. That's number 1, number 2, number 3. That's the entire list. What is best for the player? That's why you're recruiting these guys, because you believe in them as a person. And it goes for every coach in the country, right? It doesn't matter if you're at LSU or you're at Florida National. It's the same thing. Every single coach at every level.
You want to have success.
We want everyone to succeed at whatever they choose to do, and whatever that path looks like for what they choose.
Mm-hmm.
But we want you to really sit and think about, why are you making this decision? Is it going to be best for you 10 years from now? Is it going to help you achieve your goals, whatever those goals are in your life? Right. We got 85 years on this planet, right? And your choices at 21 are going to affect you at 61. So that's all we want, is for you to for the players to make the right decision, the right choices, and to help them along the way, whether it's going to Florida National or going somewhere else. Nick, you tweet, you talk a lot, you speak with conviction. All you do is yap, but you come from a place of education. You come from a place of it all comes from a good heart. It all comes from wanting the best for the players, whether they go to your school or not, whether they play for you or not. And keep doing it. Stay authentic. I know you're going to, without me even telling you. Just make sure make sure you keep doing that, and I'll be watching with the popcorn. And
my daughter is so amazed that her dad has 37,000 Twitter followers. she's a TikToker, and she says, "Dad, I will always bet I'm going to have more followers than you." And she's, "Dad, you're too old to have followers," and I have 37,000 now. So
Send some of them my way. I got punked when I hit 700.
yeah.
So, all right, we're at an hour 20. There's going to be a part 2, 3, 4, 10. Probably.
You know it.
We haven't even scratched the surface on the things
that
Nick and I want to touch on. So, Nick, you have a great night. Go be with your family. Be well, and thank you for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me on tonight, man. And keep doing what you do too. We need more coaches. Just trying. I mean, every year there are about 4 or 5 guys who tend to start these podcasts. And it's good that you get into it, and because I mean, you mentioned Tim Corbin earlier. They've got their weekly radio show. A lot of us don't have our weekly radio show. This is the way we promote our programs, and kind of, get ourselves out there and kind of promote us as a person. So, thank you for all you do. I watched a little bit of Coach Cunningham's podcast you did, man. One of my good friends. We played them when he was at Voorhees. You've had Coach Garza. You've got some good guys coming up. My old coworker, Coach Sherman. I know he's gonna rock it, man. The preacher man gonna do it real big when he hops on your show. I know you're gonna have Coach Bennett, Coach Randall. I'm sorry, Coach. Coach B that used to coach at Randall, man. I know you're gonna have him on soon too. So I know you're gonna have a lot of guys that want to promote their program. And I just ask that everybody just stays true to who you are. Just understand that when it comes to this college baseball piece and college athletics piece, again, we're here to make kids feel successful, man. It's not a participation trophy, but you have so many options. And when you graduate, you want to be able to tell people in the world that you play for Coach Adam, you play for Coach Strong, but you play for FNU, you play for DCB. That's lifetime promotion. Don't forget about that. So we need this. We need you to stay doing what you're doing, because we want to be able to recruit kids, bring them in, and promote our programs for years and years to come.
Yes, sir. I will continue to do this. We will continue to have great coaches on, great people. And Nick is going to continue to go 1 for 3 in his Sunday League, Men's League.
Patrick Jones, 1 for 3. Oh, no, yeah, I'm fielding percentage 1,000.
We're clean. We're playing clean in the field. No unforced errors.
I'm clean.
Coach Strong way. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk soon.
Hey, let's set up part 2 soon, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Meet me on South Beach tonight, fans. Come on, meet me on